All right, so this is basically the second part of this series. So if you got through the first five conversations, congratulations. Make sure you write comments. That's where the magic is at. And the process, you hear something, you think about it, is great. But the process of actually putting it into words, that's where the miracles happen. That's where you start changing. So it's important to put into words, rephrase it, tell somebody about it, whatever you can do. So if you got past the first five conversations, congratulations. Now we're gonna get into the meat of the stuff. We're gonna get into the really good stuff. Again, these videos, how to be a top rep, how to be, the top level that you can be, all that good stuff. So today we're gonna talk about, in the next, actually probably maybe the next three or four conversations will be about one topic, which is integrity, which is something that a lot of people don't talk about or don't understand. That you really gotta have integrity, because integrity is where you create your life. And then people they don't understand that. I'm gonna explain. Integrity is really where you start playing the game of being a top rep. This is where your word represents you in the world. This is where you can create with your words. Whatever you want to create, whether it be being a top rep, sales, whether it be, whatever, all kind of different closings, and I'm gonna explain how that happens. But you gotta bear with me, go through the conversations. But to fully do that, if you have not gone through the first five conversations or left comments in all of them, I highly recommend stop the video right now, go back and go through all the video, at least paraphrase or go through the comments, read them, and try to get that information sunk in. A problem that one of the things that we do is we go through fast and we read, like when reading a book, we just zip through the material just to finish reading the book, and nothing actually seeps in. When I read a book, I usually read it twice. I read it one whole time, and I'll go read it again, and then a second time I'll take notes and put it in a notebook and write it. Even when I do that, I'll go back a year later and go back and look at my notes, and there's a whole bunch of stuff I forgot. There's some stuff I'll discover or I'll read in another book and be like, wow, this is awesome. This is the greatest stuff ever. And I go to write it in the notes, and I look at my old notes, and it's already there. And I'm like, I already read this. Like, I totally forgot about it. Or I already, this principle is already there, and but for some reason, we have forgetful minds, and the mind forgets. That's why you have to always keep staying fresh, keep going back to what you thought you already knew, because I guarantee you're gonna forget it, little by little. If you don't stay new with it, stay fresh with it, watch new videos that reinforce the old ones. That's the beauty of it. So, anyway, enough talking. Let me get right to it. We're talking about integrity. What is integrity? A lot of people say integrity is doing the right thing and this and that. We're going to go deeper than that. Integrity is not, and one of the definitions I heard is doing what you know you should do when nobody's watching. Yes, that's part of it. But in reality, we're going to see what really is integrity, what it means to keep your integrity, what it means to honor it, what it means to break it, how do you fix it if it is broken. All these different things we're going to talk about. Okay, so we're going to define integrity differently than most people define it. Integrity is to be able to keep your word. That's basically the main thing. Not doing what the rule says to do, not doing what somebody else said to do. You can have a lot of integrity and be in total disagreement with the rest of society. Integrity is when you're able to keep your own word, not when you're able to do what somebody else told you to do. So integrity goes beyond right versus wrong. It goes beyond morality. And yes, this is for top salespeople, but it is important for you guys to understand that first, what we mean by integrity, and then you'll be able to do it. So forget sales for a second. Let's go back into what integrity really is. Okay, it is beyond right versus wrong, because that's subjective anyways. It's the ability to honor your word over the circumstances that exist. So, for example, if I give my word to do something, integrity, being really good at integrity, is when circumstances arise, but you're keeping your word anyways. What you said you were going to do, you're going to do it, and circumstances are not stronger than your word. So integrity is having the ability to honor your word over circumstances and reasons. Okay, reasons and we're going to learn that. We're going to have a whole conversation just on reasons and what they are and how they're created. But when your word is stronger than reasons, and no reason, even the reason why you gave your word is actually less important than your word itself, then you start to have integrity. Okay, you lose power when you do not have the ability to finish, and you lack integrity to finish what you said you were going to do. So integrity is power. Whenever you don't have integrity, you actually don't have power because you didn't have the power to finish. So, for example, I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z. Circumstances happen. I don't keep my integrity. That means I didn't have the power to keep my word. So, integrity, you got to see it as power, not as submission, not as obedience, not as all that other stuff. Integrity is the ability to finish on what you said you were going to do. And if you don't do what you said or you wanted to do, then you don't have it. I'll tell, I sometimes some of our clients when we sell vacation packages, I don't know if I'll use it. These people lack integrity because they can't create it. Just say you're going to do it and do it. Well, I bought that package and I never used it. Well, you weren't able to keep your word. That's what they're saying. I mean, what they're saying is I have no integrity because I was unable to finish on something that I planned on doing because of reasons or circumstances. And sometimes the reasons are really stupid or really small or really not a big reason. But for them, the reason was bigger than their word and their integrity is not strong enough. Okay, so integrity again is ability to keep your own word. Okay, not somebody else's word. What you said you were going to do. When you make an agreement with somebody and you give your word, that's integrity. And then keeping it is integrity. Not if they tell you this is what to do. Now you are free to disagree or not agree with other people and still keep your integrity. You can be labeled as a terrorist and have full integrity because you have clearly said this is what I'm going to do, this is what I believe in, and I'm willing to die for it. And there's no reason or circumstance, no bribe, no nothing can turn me away from what I'm going to do because I am straight and I have my word. And that's why when you have integrity, it's important that you always keep your word, no matter what you say. You're going to do your best, and you're not going to let any circumstances, any feelings, any emotions, anything stand in between you and your word. Because when that happens, then the circumstance, the emotions, or whatever it is, then has power over you. And you have lost power. Because with integrity, your word begins to represent you out in the world. When you say something, that's who you are. That's who the world sees you as. That's who that's what represents you. So you got to respect that part. If you don't respect that, no one else is going to respect it. And I realize how powerful integrity is. I mean, you can, if you are, it creates believability for you and whoever that you're dealing with. If you have integrity, there are some things that somebody else will tell somebody and it will not go through, and then some things I say it will go through because I've created integrity in my life and I've created integrity out on my word. When I say something, people know that it's gonna happen. They trust me. With trust opens up communication. I mean, just imagine if your communication was so good, your integrity was so good that you were so believable that no matter what you said, it came out to pass. And the one, if you look at an entity with full integrity, if you look at the story of the Bible and God, so much integrity said, let there be light, and light shows up. The elements believe him so well that everything just falls into place. Let there be water, and water comes to being. So when you have full integrity at that 100% level, you'll say, I want 50 sales. 50 sales are going to show up. You're going to say, I want a house. It's as if it's coming out of your mouth. House, and the house just comes up. That's really what integrity can create for you. You say, great marriage, and you saying it, a great marriage appears. And in your eyes and the eyes of everybody, when you create a vision, everybody's like, "Oh, okay, I see this is gonna happen." Because if he says it's gonna happen, his word is good. It's gonna happen. So, to not go further, just to explain what the integrity was. This is kind of the first part of what integrity is. Okay, integrity equals your word. Like, to get integrity, you get your word. So you have to have. You're not gonna be able to keep your word unless you have integrity. And integrity is to have that commitment to keeping your word and having commitment to what you say is going to happen, and circumstances are not going to change it. So once you have your word is established and you have a good word, which means when I say good word is whatever you say is good. I always tell my coworkers, family. Word is bond. They say something, hey, I keep my word. And I remind them, hey, I'm keeping my word, and I keep myself. I keep my word, keep my word. Okay? So you're able to keep your word, and that's how you're able to keep your commitment. So if you have a chance, write this down. Integrity allows you to keep your word. Keeping your word allows you to keep your commitments. And keeping your commitments allows you to be successful. You will not be successful, we're going to go backwards, if you're unable to keep your commitments. Perseverance is one of the main factors in success. There have been people with a lot of talent that have not been successful. There are people with a lot of skills, a lot of money, a lot of everything that haven't been able to reach their goals. Persistence, keeping that commitment is one of the key factors in most all success, because you got to just keep pushing. But you're not going to keep pushing unless you're able to keep that commitment even in bad times. And you're not going to be able to keep that commitment if you have no word. If your word to do the commitment is no good. And of course, you're not going to have any word if you have no integrity. So it starts with integrity, and you'll be able to get to success after. But if you're trying to be successful first and then be a committed person, you're not going to make it. You're trying to be committed first, but you have no word. And having your word to count has to count at all times. It can't be like, well, in this situation, my word is good, but in other situations, I don't care if my word's not good. It doesn't work like that. You know, if you have a car that doesn't work very well when you're going to a party, it's not going to work very well when you're going to work. It's just the same car. Because whatever it broke down for the weak things, say whoever's faithful in little things will be faithful in big things. That's where that premises comes from. Is that if your word is no good in little things, it's not going to be good in big things. Because whatever let you off the hook the first time, you're going to let you off the hook again. So your word has to be stronger than reasons. Because you can always create a reason to not keep your word. You just have to be in a habit of keeping that word, keeping that commitment, and then you will reach your success. You will reach your goals. So I'm not gonna go further than that. Like I said, just part of the integrity is a lot of different stuff. But I hope this is what I want you to take away with this: is integrity gives you your word. Okay, and when I say your word, I mean your ability to have that your word is good. That when you say something is believable, that it happens. Okay, if you say things and they don't happen, then your word is no good, and you got to go back there and check your integrity. Okay, if you're making commitments and your commitments aren't aren't good, then you need to check your word. Okay, so it goes in order: integrity, your word. Your word gives you your commitments, and your commitments give you your success. You cannot, if you're lying to people all the time and people in your life don't respect your word and you can't come, your agreements aren't holding, it's because your integrity is not good. Okay, if your marriage is failing, it's because your integrity is not good. Because you keep your integrity, you keep your word, whoever your spouse is gonna believe what you said, and you will be able to keep your commitments, and then you will be able to reach a success. If your commitment is contingent on somebody else, what they do, well, I'll agree to this, but if you break your word, I'm gonna break mine. Then your integrity is not good yet, because integrity has no, it's separate than what other people. It's separate than it's unreasonable. Okay, your integrity needs to be unreasonable, meaning it has no reason. It's not because, well, if you broke your integrity, then I'm gonna break mine. That means you never had integrity. Your integrity is deeper than that. It goes from within. Okay, so that's just the first part of integrity. There's so many parts, and we gotta develop that, because once you get to that point, when you understand how important it is to keep your integrity in all things, and I've had times where my wife has been mad at me because I kept my word for something else and she thought it wasn't important. And it really wasn't. The actual thing wasn't important. But the only thing that was important was my ability to keep my integrity. Even though it was something that seemingly wasn't important. But it's always important when there's other people that you're creating yourself as somebody who doesn't keep their word in little things. Even though, well, it's a big thing, I'm going to keep my word. If someone can't keep their word in little things, they're gonna be the same way in big things. You got to be able to keep your word in all things. So I be careful what I say, what promises I make, because I know that it's important. It's like when I finally got how important integrity was, I felt like my mouth was like a gun with bullets in it, and I was afraid to shoot it off because I know now these bullets are gonna hit. When before, I would say whatever because it's not gonna. They should have known that I wasn't serious. I'd make promises. I would say stuff, and then if it doesn't work out, I would just say, "Well, come on, you knew that I wasn't serious, or you shouldn't have took me that seriously." And I'm creating myself as somebody who has no integrity and unable to create. You're not gonna be successful like that because if I'm lying to other people, I'm gonna be lying to myself. If I say I'm gonna wake up every morning and do this, this, and that, and I can't do it, it's because I'm lying to myself and I have no integrity. So the video went a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna go, but really important. Write in the comments again, what is integrity? I want you to define it for me, just the same way I defined it, and how you can see that this can apply to your life. So integrity again is beyond right or wrong. It's not about morality. It's about keeping your own word, and it goes deeper than any reason why you're keeping the word. It's big, stronger than all reasons. It's stronger than all anything. And when you get to that point, your integrity is that strong, you will be able to keep your word, and you'll be able to keep your commitments. And there's sky's the limit for you. There's nothing that you can't reach. So on your way to being a top rep, I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you guys soon.